The first part of the solve loop is capture. We'll move from capture to structure to reuse and improve. And you'll see how they all work as part of the agent's workflow and they all work together. So the first thing you want to do is you want to capture, right? So you want to capture in the moment, right? You want to have real-time knowledge creation and real-time sharing, and you want to make knowledge a byproduct of your problem solving. So with capture, with the concept of capture, what you want to do is while you're working with the customer, you want to be noting down the things that are unique about the issue. You want to be using them in your search and or keeping them for the knowledge article that you're going to be creating later. You also want to capture the customer's context. Now, the reason you want to capture the customer's context is this improves findability. What you're actually capturing is their perception of the issue rather than what you would classify the issue as. When you capture their context, what you're doing is you're actually partially capturing their emotion and their feeling, the way that they would report the issue. What this does for us is makes that issue more easily found when it's when you put it to self-service, or when your peers may be looking for the same thing. You also want to capture relevant content. So when you're working with someone, there's going to be a number of different things that are going to be coming at you left and right. What you want to make sure that you're doing is capturing what is relevant and unique to that issue, and what's going to make it findable. By doing all of these things, we are able to capture knowledge as it becomes explicit, right? And so tacit information becomes explicit in conversation, right? This allows us to relate to their experience, right? It allows us to tap into the things that we know that we don't know until we're asked, right? And so within RightAnswers, right, we can capture in the moment, and we can capture right inside of the ticket, right? And so what you see here is just a quick view of a remedy with a RightAnswers integrated. Okay, information that's captured in the ticket is used to create solutions in the knowledge base. So we have a nice integration that works with Remedy. As you move forward, what it will actually do is pull information out of Remedy and create a draft solution for you that you can continue on, right? And so your KCS level determines what rights you have, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But what this does is allows you to keep your regular workflow, capture in the moment, capture the customer's context, capture your relevant content, and also capturing knowledge as it becomes explicit in kind of the moment, right? Now, the next technique that we're going to talk about is article structure, right? So you want to structure your article so that it's readable, and so that the person who finds the article is able to use it, right? When they see that article, when they see that it's relevant to their situation, you want to make sure that they can make use of that, right? So we say keep it simple. That improves readability, and it gives people the ability to digest what they're reading, okay? So you want your articles to be in what we say are complete thoughts, not necessarily complete sentences. The people who are doing KCS are not meant to be technical writers. They're meant to be your agents, your engineers, your analysts, sharing information with one another. So you want to keep it short, and you want to keep it succinct, because you want to make sure that you're transferring information. You're not doing a lot of work writing things down. What you're actually doing is transferring knowledge between people, right? And so within RightAnswers, we have a series of templates that come out of the box, and the ability to create configurable templates so you could structure content for your business. Right? You structure the content in such a way that it's going to be easily readable, easily absorbable, and then it comes back out in an in a nice, easy-to-read format based on who you are when you're logged into the system. We get to target you in such a way that you are able to see the right details at the right time. Okay? Which brings us to reuse. So reuse is a concept in KCS that actually focuses on capitalizing what we already know. So the idea is that you want to reuse as much as possible, right? You're capturing the information with the idea to reuse that information and really get that extra value out of it. So reuse it's a review process also, right? If we search early and we search often, we seek to understand what we know, and we want to look at the collective knowledge base before we start to solve the customer's problem, right? So we really want to understand what the issue is. We really want to understand what we have in the knowledge base, and we want to do this throughout the troubleshooting process, right? As we're reusing knowledge, as we're reusing support information, we use search as part of our troubleshooting process. We consult the knowledge base. We consult the collective knowledge, right? That helps us understand what we collectively know so that we're not re-solving issues that have already been solved. If Veronica's taken a few hours to solve an issue and I can apply that fix in 10 minutes because she's done all of the legwork, I don't want to spend 2 hours on that issue, right? I want to spend 10 minutes on that issue, and that saves us a lot of time, right? And it also allows us to collaborate with others actively working on the same issue. If, Veronica's working on an issue, she spent an hour and she's captured, right? She's searched, she's checked, she's captured everything that she knows about an issue, but maybe it didn't quite solve it. That information is made available for me to reuse and pick up from where she left off and maybe add a little bit more, maybe add some commentary to that, right? So we're reusing information throughout, right? And so we say that search words are candidates for knowledge. Right? We're capturing the customer's context, we're searching again, we're searching throughout the troubleshooting process, and everything that we're searching is potential for being added to the knowledge base, either as new knowledge, right, or either as additions to existing knowledge to make that knowledge better. And so as we reuse knowledge, we make knowledge better. And the more that we use knowledge, the more that we indicate its value, all right, and the better the knowledge becomes. All right? And we do that, and so we mark reuse by a concept that we call linking. And so we would associate an article or a piece of knowledge with a ticket or with an incident. And we would say, this knowledge helped us solve this incident. And you would report on that. You could see where the value is, and you could see the usage factors and the value within the knowledge, right? So within RightAnswers, right, there's a number of different ways that we enable reuse, right? So we have our inline integration, which searches for the agents as they're working on the incident. So you could see that in the summary field, right? So as you're typing, it's searching for you, and it appears right over here in a nice, easy-to-read format. Okay. Our search assistant, which you should see just kind of zoomed in a little bit there, it helps you refine your search and aid you in the troubleshooting process. So with KCS, you want to make sure that you're working in the right environment. You want to make sure you understand all of the metadata and everything that's moving on so that you really are narrowing things down. If your search is not specific enough, the search assistant will help you do that. All right? Your search results can include things like draft articles, which helps you collaborate on active issues. The example I gave of Veronica and myself working on an issue that we didn't quite solve, let's say in one round, right? And then the solutions themselves can be linked to the case for resolution and association. So we have the articles here. From inside the article and from a little hover over that appears next to the articles here, that will actually take that article information, copy it into Remedy, create a link in RightAnswers, create a link in Remedy that would then tie the two together so that we can see kind of where that value is. Okay? And if a solution is new, let's say you've done all of this, you're not finding the solution that you want, you can actually use the suggest a solution or add to knowledge base features that you'll see here, right? And that will help us bring that information into our solution manager where you would be able to go ahead and just create a new article right from here. Okay. And so the last concept in the solve loop is the concept of improve, right? So we've already noted that reuse is review, right? So we're using articles, we're linking articles, we're noting that they're valuable, or we're not using them. And that process alone shows us value in the knowledge, right? If we use the article, then we know that article was valuable for that situation. If we link it to a ticket, we know that it was valuable. If we don't, then we know that it wasn't, right? So it's actually that day-to-day knowledge base use that is review. Who better to tell you if your knowledge works than the person who's applying it to the situation directly, right? Your solutions are actually validated by the people who use them every day, right? So that process reviews the knowledge for us as we go. So you want to keep that in mind, right? Now, we also say flag it or fix it, or as RightAnswers likes to say, UFA, right, which stands for use, flag, fix, or add. And so you want to use, flag, fix, or add knowledge with every interaction that you have with the customer. All right? And so it's the agents or the analysts that take responsibility for the knowledge base. They're either using information and linking it, or they're flagging information, putting it up for review, fixing information, because some agents in KCS will have the right to fix that information directly, or add information, because they'll be able to add new information to the knowledge base directly, or rather in the moment, right? And all of this is tied to a license that you would have, right? And so there's a license to modify. You'll have within KCS, you'll develop processes where you have people who are assigned certain levels of rights, and you actually coach them and have them be more competent in KCS, so that as they learn more, you give them more privileges, and the knowledge base starts to manage itself for the most part. We borrow some of the extra added time to do more, and that's part of what we'll talk about in the Evolve Loop section. Okay, and so within RightAnswers, there's a number of different ways to improve solutions while you're looking at them. Right, so this is the solution view, right? And so in the solution, there's a series of actions. In those actions, we have a number of things that we can do, right? So we have an add to KB component here. This allows people with the appropriate privileges to create knowledge articles. In KCS, everybody can create a knowledge article. It's just a matter of how far they can take it, right? This is the add part. The edit this solution, right? That's the fix part. They can fix. They can go, oh, I have to change this right now, right? You'll see comment on a solution or submit a comment. Submitting a comment will flag the solution. It will actually put a note to the original authors and reviewers to say, hey, you should take a look at this. I think we need to do more. Step number 3 isn't correct. And everybody can see those comments. All right? And then use. Did this solution help? Yes. That's going to link the solution back to your ticket, and then it's going to mark that solution as being useful. All right? And so there's a number of different things that we can do to help improve the knowledge base while we're in our workflow.
Now, what does this actually mean at the end of the day? When you think about actually solving an issue that one of your users has, Gartner put together this mean time to resolve chart a couple of years ago, and it's still very valid. There are different parts of the mean time to resolve. Mean time to identify, figure out what the problem is. Mean time to know, which is figuring out how to fix the problem. Mean time to fix, obviously, the time it takes to actually fix the problem. And then to verify it and make sure that everything is good. Now, this, obviously, they did this from a blended community, taking a look at data from a lot of different people, and on average, these are the percentages of the solving an incident. And you look at this, the mean time to know is 68%, right? So when you're thinking about all the time that your agents are spending in an incident, they are spending most of their time, more than half of their time, almost 2/3, just figuring out how to fix the problem. When you put knowledge first, and when you're using KCS and you have a good, clean knowledge base, think about taking 10 to 15% of the time off of that. With a great knowledge base, you could probably cut that in half. But think about just shaving a little bit off of that, and what does that mean in dollars? So in another report, Gartner says that solving an internal IT call can cost you about $75. And when you're looking at what 68% of that is, that's $50 a call.